last year is Cris Vandegriff. Okay? Cris is the president of HMSA, which is one of the country's larger sanctioning bodies of vintage racing. And he has a real California history. You want to say a quick word about that?
My family's been involved in motorsports all the way back. My great-grandfather was a riding mechanic in Indianapolis. My family was in the retail exotic car business from 59 until 93. My dad was one of the original creators of the Can-Am series. We ran Can-Am in 66. I started traveling as a working member of the race team in 68. Jerry Titus drove for us in 68, 69. Chris Amon drove for us in the Ferrari 612, and then Jim Adams drove for us the rest of the time. Jerry Titus drove for us in 68. Heavily involved in motorsports all through the 60s and the early 70s. After we lost Pedro Rodriguez, my dad stopped attending races. We ran for 2 more years. My dad never won races. And on the Can-Am circuit, Peter Rebson used to kind of check on me and make sure I was okay. When we lost Peter in 74, I walked away from motorsports and stayed away until the early 80s. And a friend bought a vintage Corvette, asked me to take him to Willow Springs, show him how to drive it, and in typical drug fashion, addiction fashion, first session around the track at Willow Springs, I was hooked again, and have been heavily involved ever since then. I ran Indy Lights cars, ran IMSA WSC cars, and I retired out of the car business in '95 and started being very involved in vintage racing. I took over HMSA in '97, and our big event that we do, the biggest in the country, is the Monterey Motorsports Reunion.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So it's this year we're doing Rennsport, so if you all have a chance to go to Rennsport, it's a pretty amazing event. So that's what I do.
We also ran the Coronado Speed Festival for a number of years, and they do a big event at Mantra Blanca every year as well.
We do 10 to 15 events a year around North America. It's my passion. This is the Trans Am Group is the pinnacle of historic racing. The cars are all documented, real cars, they're delivered the way they ran, period. And we are probably the most stringent of any of the historic organizations in the United States. We want the cars as they ran in period, not as it could be. And an advantage or disadvantage for me is that I saw them all run in period. So I know how they were, and that's the way I want them. It's important.
And he's a stickler too, let me tell you.
It's preserving history, and guys that modify historic cars. My favorite analogy is I always say that Mona Lisa, for me, is not a very attractive woman, but with a couple of brush strokes you could fix that painting. And people say, "Oh, that's sacrilege." I'm like, "Well, your car to me is my Mona Lisa." So, you don't want me to mess up your painting. Don't mess up my cars. Thank you all for coming. Have a great time. Enjoy the weekend. HMSAUSA.com if you want to know more about us.
Thanks, Cris.
There you have it, Cris Vandegriff giving a rundown. Channel Vision Live.